I remember one night, I came home from work thinking to myself that I had to choose between eating dinner or having enough money for my car payment that was coming out of my account the next day. That is a decision that to many people after me, thankfully had a can of baked beans in my cabinet that I forgot about, which I've never eaten as a main course. I did that night. As I stared at the beans cooking on the stove, I had time to think of why I was in that situation. I realized I had to change it. Everyone has this aha moment. This is one of the best and worst dinners I have ever had. So many people live their lives on autopilot until they find themselves making a tough choice like I did. Like, are we going to eat or are we going to pay my cell phone bill? That's probably not a tough choice, but are we going to buy you clothes for the first day of school, or do I have to use that money to pay rent? Might be the tougher choice. Some people assume their finances can't improve, that they're supposed to be living like this because everyone else does. You're often your own worst enemy when it comes to your finances. You have to look in the mirror. Living like this is easy. Paycheck to paycheck, it's easy, and that's why the average person lives like it. It's probably gotten to where you are now because of inattentiveness or by following the crowd. And this is where Dave Ramsey introduces the phrase that you must live like no one else right now so you can live like no one else later. The next concept in the book is denial. Maybe you drive a nice car, maybe you have a nice house, own a big TV, or for whatever reason you can't possibly be lumped into the category of being financially irresponsible. The realization may not come until you get close to retirement. This is the worst situation to be in, and it might be too late. Get out of denial. If you blow off that aha moment I talked about earlier of picking between dinner and your cell phone, if you consider it a weird anomaly, you're headed for danger. You're in denial. Imagine driving down the highway and seeing a warning sign saying, "Bridge collapse ahead." Would you ignore that? Would you just keep going? If you didn't ignore it, you'd have plenty of opportunity to stop the car, turn around, find another way to where you want to go, and avoid the danger of driving towards your doom. If you ignore the warning, you'll soon find yourself face to face with a collapsed bridge. Imagine going 65 miles an hour towards a collapsed bridge. Are you going to have enough time to stop the car? Are you going to have enough time to turn around? While you're falling, you'll probably be cursing yourself for ignoring the warning signs. Don't be that person. You don't want to wait until you're about to retire before realizing you haven't saved enough to maintain your lifestyle. The next topic he discusses is a budget. This was the worst word I could possibly read when I first started out. What an unattractive word. It's equivalent to hearing diet or someone telling you to eat salad when you're trying to lose weight. Instead of budgeting, do this. Figure out who you're paying. Know who's taking your hard-earned money. Everyone you're paying or are supposed to be paying, write it down on a list. Write who it is, why you're paying them, and how much you're paying. How much money are you paying other people every month? Write down the total. Now, how much are you being paid for what you do every month? Are you losing money? Are you just keeping your head above water? Look at the list of people you're paying and ask if you need to pay them. Ask if it's necessary. What about that cell phone bill? Why are you paying $90 a month for a cell phone service that gives you the same that a $40 a month cell phone service would give you? As well, get rid of these things or reduce them. Look at the list of people you're paying and ask if it's necessary that you're paying them. And if it is necessary, ask how you can pay them less. If you want results, you have to commit. You have to know who you're paying. Know that the word budget is just a boring term for knowing where your money is going every month. You work hard for your money, and you shouldn't have it all taken away from you. You have to make more than you spend. So now that you've reduced your expenses for the month, what are you going to do with that money? And this is the next step. This is one of the first baby steps towards financial freedom. In the book, Total Money Makeover, you have to save $1,000. That is your first step. Save $1,000 fast. What's the most money you've saved before? A few years ago, I would only have saved a few $100s and spent it on a nice toy when I realized I can afford it. You need to take this challenge. Save $1,000. That's the first step. Not $900, not $700, $1,000. This first $1,000 is a first step for multiple reasons. Seems like a lot of money at first, but it won't seem like a lot once you continue down the path of financial freedom. Once you save 1,000, you'll be addicted, I promise. Reaching this goal will be rewarding for you, not only because you'll have $1,000 at the end of it, but because you set a goal and you achieved it. Now, as you continue on in the other steps, you'll have $1,000 in case you need it. It's like shocks on a bike. Imagine driving down the roadway or a bumpy roadway on a bicycle. That $1,000 is your shock system. Would you like to ride down that bump on a bicycle without shocks? No, it would hurt. You'd have to stop, get off, and walk. But with shocks, it's kind of a cushion. It allows you to absorb some of those bumps in the road as you continue down your path. And by the way, when you decide that you need to use this $1,000, need means that you have to spend it, not that you want to spend it. Remember, there's a collapsed bridge ahead. You don't want to drive towards that. The next step Dave Ramsey talks about is a debt snowball. This is one of the most famous concepts, and this is probably his most intimidating step. I promise it'll be the most rewarding experience you have. He calls it the debt snowball because when you start the snowball, it's tiny, but as it gets rolling, it becomes unstoppable. It becomes huge, and your debt will be done before you know it. It's gone. Your primary goal should be to shorten the list of people you're paying. The faster you do that, the better. The easiest way to do this, of course, is to pay those who use small amounts of money to pay them off. This means you'll have fewer people to worry about paying. Then, you can focus on the big debts and dedicate all of your extra money every month to these debts. Let's not include your mortgage in this, but in no time, your debts will be gone. Can you imagine being debt-free? A friendly tip is that if you have a debt due to a car, maybe you should sell that car and get something less expensive, if anything at all. Some people don't even need a car. Imagine how much money that would free up every month. The next step Ramsey talks about is finishing off your emergency fund. Remember that $1,000 you saved up? This is where your hard work pays off. This is where all that extra money you have at the end of the month goes to, your safety net. It's time to bump up that account, that $1,000 you saved, so you can live 3 to 6 months off of it. How much money would you need for 3 to 6 months of living? This is where all your stress begins to fade away as you build this account. Imagine being able to know that no matter what happens at your job, you could live for months without your power turning off or having to worry about those bills. You can just focus on getting your next job. Decide how much money you're going to save. That's crucial. You have to know the amount. If you live off of one $500 a month, know that in 6 months, you'll need $9,000. So now $9,000 is my goal. I'm already $1,000 in, so I only need to save $8,000 more. Get to that number. Don't lose your focus. Don't turn the car back around towards that collapsed bridge. Once you save it, then the real fun comes. You're going to be tempted at times. You're going to realize that you have enough money to make a down payment on a car, a new laptop, or a vacation. Remember that these decisions are just going to lead you right back down the road to a collapsed bridge. You have to live like no one else now, so you can live like no one else later. The final steps of Ramsey's book talk about all the new parts of your life. This is the new year now. This is where you are where you thought you would never have been, debt-free and with a bunch of extra money at the end of each month. Know that a little bit of your money should now go to your retirement, and he estimates about 15%. Don't worry about that right now. Look back at this once you get there. These are where the different things come in, like employer match 401ks, Roth IRAs, 457 ES. Don't be intimidated by all these numbers and letters. They're all just glorified savings accounts. The next thing is to pay off your home. I mean, imagine that. Could you imagine if you own the place where you live outright? Imagine retiring early. Now you're never going to worry about that mortgage payment again. All that extra money every single month. This is where you can build wealth like crazy for whatever you want, for fun, for travel, to invest, anything. Imagine. There is a reason this is one of the most talked about books. It's a life changer. If you've ever been in the hot seat trying to decide between eating and making your car payment like me, get this book. So if you want to learn more, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. And what action will you take after watching this video? Tell us in the comments section below. Until then, have an amazing day. See you soon.